This is Greg Vincent with Top Producer Radio, talking to Rich Nelson, who is the Director of Research at Allendale Commodities in McHenry, Illinois. And Rich, you guys came out with your numbers this morning for 2009 acreage, and just tell us a little bit about what you came up with.
Certainly. We do a 2-week survey of farmers around the nation, both our clients as well as new farmers we have not talked with. And we had a very good response as usual here. I believe this year the participation totaled around 23 different states. So pretty good coverage, allowed us to make what we feel are some pretty good numbers laid out there. As far as the main numbers we do have here this morning that we released, numbers should be not too surprising on the soybean end at least. Up about 4.7 million acres compared to last year. It's probably within most of what the trade is looking for here. If there was a surprise, it probably will be on the corn end. Some of the trade have believed will be anywhere from zero, meaning no change in corn acres, on down to as much as maybe 4 million acres dropping out of corn. Our survey here actually showed that maybe about a 600,000 acre, so less than a million acre change dropping out of corn. So that's going to be the main surprise we're looking at here on this report.
Okay, when you look at this and where we are right now and what people's plans are, how firm do you think these are?
I think these are completely up in the air.
Okay.
And as far as the corn, like I said, that's the battleground argument right now is obviously with the corn. Heck, if we get a few great weeks of planting, we're going to change these corn numbers easily by about a million and a half or so, either way. So as far as that goes, I do agree that most farmers, and I'm sure your clients, your listeners would agree, most farmers are certainly getting some numbers laid out for the bank, getting some numbers laid out for planning, but once they get down to it, it's still up in the air right now.
Okay. When you're evaluating this, is it mostly weather? Is it fertilizer? What's the big reason for the change?
This is obviously going to be just plain old input cost.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that given the price declines we've had since last summer, obviously, and the very disappointing prices, I should say, that farmers are looking at right now compared to what they had hoped for a few months ago. The main issue is input costs. In fact, some areas, even though they may show that corn still is maybe an advantage at current fertilizer prices, a lot of those guys in those key areas are still going to stay a little more on the bean side here.
Okay. Anything else? What do farmers need to be paying attention to as they go through this March 31st report? And if they're still in the position where they can make some changes, what kind of things are you going to tell them to watch?
A few things we're looking at right now is even though Allendale has already recommended to sell our old crop corn as well as soybeans here back in December and January. Even though we had made that recommendations, we would assume that most farmers are telling us, clients or either new people to Allendale are telling us clearly they're interested, first of all, on the old crop sales that they still have in the bin.
Getting rid of 08.
And that's right. And we do expect a small rally here in this market going into planning as we make some of these arguments on acreage. We certainly recommend that farmers move any remaining old crop on this little rally we expect going into April into early May. As far as new crop sales, we certainly are looking at beans being something to lock in on new crop on that little rally as well. We'll be very aggressive on old and new crop sales. If they wanted to basically, if they want to put out a little flyer, if they want to have an area that has some risk in, you could argue that corn numbers may be a little tighter than expected. So I would be aggressive on this rally for moving old crop corn and locking in new crop corn, maybe with options or something like that doesn't give them completely locked in prices there.
So if you were going to wager on this, would you wager that corn acres would go up from these numbers or soybean acres go up?
Boy,
at this point?
That's a tough question here. And honestly, though, the way it looks right now, if we're going to make a change, I would say maybe the soybean numbers might come down a little bit. Maybe the corn actually pick up.
Okay. That's Rich Nelson, who's the Director of Research at Allendale. Rich, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot now.